older Gen Z, and I'm just realizing, like, the past 6 years, we can't have shit. We are the definition of a generation who has done things by the book to get shat on again and again and again and again and again. You spend your whole life seeing how made up high school graduation is to be, and you get to graduate and you graduate at the crib. I spent my whole life playing ball to not even get to play in the playoffs. Okay, then you go to college and your freshman year damn near gets canceled to COVID. Then you graduate. Oh my God, you graduate into the worst job market in damn near American history. Oh, and God forbid you want a house, because the average first-time homeowner now is 50. Oh, and God forbid you want to have a hobby of traveling, because now they snatching people passports.
It's weird because society's falling apart and I'm trying to find a job.
So my generation's Gen Zs are actually very cooked. Like, we are so cooked. Even a lot of people who are not in our generation see that we are actually very cooked. They can see and know what we're going through. I mean, we're born into straight chaos. We didn't ease into adulthood. Everything is just thrown at us in different ways, different madness. I'm glad we're speaking out about this, because most people don't really know. They be thinking that sometimes some things is actually very unique to them alone. Like, maybe they're the only ones experiencing that. So sometimes you need to see that a lot of people in our generation are actually experiencing this. Like, it's not a unique experience. It's something that collectively we're going through, and this is what the system is looking like for all of us. I know you've heard this a lot, like it was a pandemic, inflation, student loans, rent prices, the housing crisis. It's crazy. We're going to be checking out this video, some rants about what Gen Zs are going through. So, but before we get right into this video, please make sure you click the like button. It helps the algorithm, and I appreciate that so much. Let's get right into this video.
They cooked our generation from the start. They told us to go to college and then we'll be able to get a job and have a family and be able to afford things, which was a complete lie. You get out of college, you're in so much debt. I hear people talking about being $100,000 plus in debt, which is crazy. And you just got to go get a job to pay that debt back. You can't afford a home. The mortgage rates are crazy. Even if you can secure the mortgage, you got to pay that for 30 years. Are you going to be able to do that while jobs are just randomly laying people off? Who knows? Both people have to work a full-time job, sometimes a full-time and a part-time job, or do a little side hobby. So who's going to be able to have children? Because then you're going to have to pay for childcare. Nobody's really raising their children. Social media and the schools are raising their children. The government. And then they told us a few years ago to just stay in the house and miss out on all our socializing and connecting with people. For years, they just said stay in the house and be afraid. Watch the news. Just stay in the house. Don't do nothing. Don't go outside. Don't do anything. They cooked us, bro. Everything about it is just extreme cookage. It's wild.
Our generation will be the first generation to die with more memories of other people's lives than our own. Let that sink in.
I feel like the economy is fucked up, because scam texts used to be like, oh my God, you just got something for free. And now it's like, I heard you want a job.
My unborn children don't even know how much heartache, stress, disappointment, sadness, maybe happiness if they get lucky, that I'm saving them from by not having them. Because it's people who make less money than me having kids, and I just can't imagine that. Because my mom just called me up and I got sent into a blind rage because she just simply asked me, am I saving money? And I felt so like angry just from that question, because I just wanted to yell at her, like, saving money, I didn't even ask to be here. Saving money from a job I don't even like. Spending the money is the part of the job that I like. The one little getting the check and blowing it is the part of the job I like. Saving.
Gen Z has started using buy now, pay later more than credit cards. First time ever. And I don't think that means what people think it means. The headlines are going to tell you that this is proof that Gen Z can't control their spending, that we're addicted to Klarna, financing clothes that we can't afford. That's not what this is. We are not talking about Klarnaing a Dyson Airwrap. We are talking about groceries, car insurance, the electric bill, a tank of gas to get to work, the boring stuff, the stuff you actually do have to buy. Groceries are up 25% since 2020. Rent is up 30% in most cities. Car insurance is up over 50% in some states, whereas entry-level salaries have pretty much stayed the same. And that's if you can get a job with how high unemployment is for recent grads. And here's the thing about BNPL. It actually sometimes matches how Gen Z gets paid. 40% of Gen Zers have side hustles, variable income, gig work, irregular paychecks, 1099s. So a credit card bill that's due on the 15th doesn't care that a check clears on the 20th. But 4 payments spread over 6 weeks is actually, in some cases, a little bit more flexible. So yeah, 54% of Gen Z used buy now, pay later this holiday season, more than credit cards for the second time ever. Last year it happened as well. So when you see the headline, Gen Z uses buy now, pay later more than credit cards, don't read it as a consumer trend. Read it as an economic indicator. Gen Z is not financing lifestyles, we're financing survival.
What year were you born?
1980.
What year were you born?
2000.
Fortnite.
What year were you born?
2000.
What year were you born?
1989.
What year were you born?
2000.
6-7.
What year were you born?
1896.
What year were you born?
2000.
What year were you born?
1996. What year were you born?
2000.
I'm going to say something controversial. Please don't throw tomatoes at me. But I keep getting a lot of questions saying, oh, I want to live the soft life. How do you live the soft life? What's the recipe? Yada, yada, yada. And I go to their page. They're 21. 22. 23 years old. I'm sorry. 20s and soft life, it just never went together. I can't. I'm the worst person to ask that. Because I'm always going to tell you, wait a while. Like, keep working. Keep going. Like, there's no soft life in your 20s. Not when you're trying to get it out the mud. Now, if you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth, you already grew up upper middle class, you grew up wealthy, you have a safety net, you caught a lick when you was 20 years old doing dating content, and now you're some superstar, fashion, beauty, content creator, ball out. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, going to college. There is not a career. Yeah, there are some careers that are going to put you in better positions than others. But it's no career. You're 22 years old. You coming out just making millions of dollars in mass. That's just not how it goes. I don't care if you get a $50,000 sign-on bonus and your starting salary is $500,000 United States girls. Okay? When you were in your 20s, you're running at the speed of light, my God, today. You are working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, okay? You're trying to get a promotion after 6, 7, 8 months. You're moving on to the next company after a year. You are moving at the speed of light. Literally, work is the center of your universe. And I'm not saying that it was healthy. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying, oh, you don't deserve rest. We all deserve rest and rest and rest. I'm telling you what the girls did, okay? I'm not, listen, the PTO we took, okay? The PTO was PTOing, and it was usually around the world. December, we was partying. We were living life somewhere in another country. My God, today. But when it came to that dog in us, we had that fight in us because we were laser focused on a life that, first of all, that we were running away from because there was nothing behind us, especially when you were first generation. Like, you first generation to make it out. Your first generation to go to college, your first generation to have this life, and you can see it within your reach, you can touch it. You gave it every single thing you had. You were hungry. You were thirsty. The nights you stayed up, okay? I fear the girls don't want to work, okay? We stayed up for this life, okay? We fought for this life, tooth and nail, brick by literal brick, okay? That's the secret to the soft life. Sometimes you have to go through the hard life to get through to the soft life. And you have to make incredible, impeccable, amazing decisions over and over and over again consistently. And that career there's nothing more important than that. You run at the speed of light. There was no, halls and Chanel's and no. I don't care how much you made. You could have been making $3 million. $3 20s was for stacking and working consistently. So that in the first half of your 30s, you could still be running. You could still have a little light jog. You weren't running at the speed of light. The second half of your 30s, it's a little power walk. And 40s, you're trying to cruise a little bit. And that's when the soft life. But 20s, soft life? My God. I don't know her. I don't know her.
So everybody in Gen Z, I'm scared for us, genuinely. Because it just seemed like everything went to shit with us. And I mean everything. Like, first of all, the economy fucking sucks. Like, our parents was out the crib by this age. Okay, I'm 23. I think my mom already had her first apartment by now. And I mean, I really could if I hustled a little harder, but I feel like I'm gonna have to hustle like 5 times as hard as she probably had to back in the day. Then, I don't care what y'all say, but the fucking music sucks. Like, we listen to it because it's hot garbage. Hear me when I say hot garbage. But the 80s and 90s music is what I prefer. Like, that's when music was good. Even I would say the early 2000s to probably up around 2015 is when music was good. Anything after that, shit, right? Then, oh my God, love? Do we even know what love is anymore? Everybody cheating. Nobody want to be loyal. Nobody wants to be genuine. Everybody fucking. Hella hookup culture. But everybody claim they want love. Everybody claim they want love, but everybody out here acting like a hoe. Yeah, it's raps for us. Marriage, we're having hella babies out of wedlock. Marriage is just not even a thing for us no more. I barely even hear our age talk about marriage. Tradition is gone. Like, we don't want to be traditional. We don't like to listen to shit anybody got to say to us. Like, Gen Z is just, I'm really scared for us because, Lord, for the generation after us, God bless them. Because we already done for.
Lower income people in my generation stop having kids as a response to the increasing cost of living. And then immigration into the US is more closely monitored and overall decreases. Then who is going to be working bottom of the totem pole jobs? Maybe my political and economic ignorance is showing through when I say this, but the way that capitalism is structured is that people who are working at the very bottom of the totem pole are helping people at the top of the totem pole make more money. And then in order for there to be somebody at the top of a certain pyramid, there need to be many people who are below that person in order for that person to reap the maximum benefit. But then if we see a trend in my generation where only the more affluent people who can afford to send their kids to college and stuff are reproducing, then those kids are more likely to become high earners as well, meaning that there is going to be a shortage of all these different people that are needed to be stacked up at the bottom of the totem pole. Maybe in the past you could have said that immigrants who are new to the country and they don't have much are going to be willing to work those harder jobs at lower rates. But if less and less of those people exist, then the wealthy people are not going to be able to profit off of the lower income people. So if these wealthy people want to stay wealthy into the next 2 generations, then they need to come on here and start maybe posting some erotic content or encouraging people to have kids.
And somehow we're actually supposed to, work harder and do better. Like, why are we not working harder? Why are we not doing better? Why we need to grind? We are lazy. We need to do better. But it's like, do you know that actually a lot of us are actually working so hard? Like, when you want to talk about laziness, a lot of us are working so hard, but at the end of the day, the goalpost is being moved every single time. Like, they tell you to work hard. Yeah, in your 20s, work hard, do this, do that. But people are actually out here working hard, grinding. But it's like the goalpost is just keeps moving and moving and moving. And then you get to the point where you're like, what am I even doing? Because at this point, it seems like I'm not gonna get to the end where I get to finally enjoy the fruit of my labor.
I said before, because of the current economy, having a job is now seen as a flex because we keep seeing different challenges pop up from this. First, it was the I'm too employed to understand this challenge. Then it was the post or flex your job challenge. I don't know, it was something crazy. But what I really meant to say was having a job is now seen as a luxury. It is now seen as a luxury to have the most basic thing that you're supposed to have to live. And that's a very bad thing because now people feel like, well, you guys don't deserve jobs. You guys don't deserve this. You guys don't want to work. But realistically, everyone should be able to find a job and get a job because everyone needs money to survive. We quite literally live in a country like that. There is no way to survive in this country if you don't make some kind of money. And so when they begin to make things that are very basic, like getting a job, become unattainable, it is now seen as a luxury instead. It's done on purpose. The system is being built like that on purpose. So when I said having a job is a flex, that's what I meant. Because it's now seen as a luxury to have a job, because people are looking at it like, well, not everyone's entitled to a job, when everyone should be entitled to a job. You quite literally need a job to make money.
60% of Americans could not come up with $1,000 for an emergency. People do not have emergency funds. Almost 70% of Americans say that money is their primary source of anxiety. Buy now, pay later services like Klarna and Afterpay are on the rise, and people are using them primarily on Instacart and DoorDash for groceries. People are using payment plans for food. 1 in 4 Americans have saved nothing for retirement. Auto loan debt, so for cars, has reached an all-time high. It's at $1.3 trillion. Credit card debt is also at an all-time high. So when most Americans are sharing the same economic struggles, is it still just user error? Is the answer still work harder, or just budget, or pull yourself up by your bootstrap? Or can we actually listen to the trends and patterns for once and realize that this is entirely systemic?
Oh, I'm so glad the workday is done. Thank God it's already 5 p.m. Only 40 more freaking years!
When you were in your 20s, you're running at the speed of light. My God.
Now, if I'm stitching a video, you know I felt it in my soul. If you're a young person, particularly a young person trying to figure out your life, and all you can see is wanting to get to the end and make a lot of money and live a soft life and all this type of stuff that you see online, go look at that video. That's a message you need. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's a message you need. And the crazy thing is, I was literally just talking about this on live, and I even have a different experience and perspective than what Tanika presented in her video, because I had someone on my live yesterday ask me, you know, I just graduated, I'm in my 20s, we in a recession, ain't no jobs, like, do you have any advice for me? I'm like, baby, I graduated college in 2007. I didn't get my first professional job until 2012. That's how bad the job market was. And it wasn't everybody. I had some friends that looked out. They had certain areas of studies where there was going to be always work. I had some friends that graduated just a year before in 2006 that looked out and got jobs like immediately after college. I was not so lucky. After I graduated, I worked at Target stocking shelves. Early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I was at Target stocking shelves. What I did is I used any opportunity I could to talk to HR, to like tell them what I, wanted to do. Target had the management training program. I was like, I'll do that. So I, cozied up to HR. And what happened is I stocked those shelves for about a year. And then HR came to me and pulled me off the floor one day and said, hey, we have this HR coordinating position. It's at another Target. It'll be a little bit of a commute for you, but it'll get you off the floor and it'll get you some transferable skills for what you want to do in the future. Because my real goal at the time was to be in corporate events, right? And so I ended up interviewing and getting a job as an HR coordinator, which is basically like a glorified admin person for the HR manager. It just so happened that the HR manager was like the district team leader or something. So she was never in the office. So what was supposed to just be admin work for me, like creating schedules, putting in PTO requests, things like that, I ended up facilitating trainings, doing hiring, doing offers, and things like that. And that sort of lit the fire for learning and development, instructional design. That sort of lit that fire under me. So then I applied to grad school, still working at Target, and I ended up getting my master's in organizational leadership. But I applied to grad school, got into grad school, and my grad school program required me to do an internship, and it was a 40-hour-a-week internship, but we were still in a recession. So I interned with Nissan North America in Franklin, Tennessee. The internship was unpaid, but I had to do it because it was required for my degree. So I had to quit that job at Target. I wasn't making them but $10 an hour anyway, but I had to quit that job at Target to do a 40-hour-a-week internship for free. So that meant I had to take a part-time job at Target on the floor, working in the fitting room and soft lines, which is like the Target term for working in the clothes. But that wasn't enough money. So then I had to go get a hostessing job. So I was in grad school, doing an internship 40 hours a week, working at Target at night, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekends, I was hosting at Ruth Chris. After my internship was over, I was like, okay, I have to go get a full-time job, but I still couldn't find a job. So while I was writing my thesis paper, I went and got a job at Verizon Wireless, taking inbound and outbound calls, getting cussed out by people that don't want to pay their phone bills. Here I am, a semester away from having a master's degree, and I'm on the phone getting cussed out for $14 an hour. And I did that for a year and still worked at Ruth Chris at night and still was in grad school and writing a thesis paper. I eventually got an offline job at Verizon, and I did that for another year after I graduated college because I could not find a job. It was not until 2012 until one of my college friends, and this is why I say when people say, how do you network? But also say college isn't important. College came with a network for me, right? That's where you start. But that's neither here nor there. One of my college friends got a leadership role in HR, hit me up and said, hey, I remember that conversation that we had about you wanting to go into learning and development. You wanted to be a corporate trainer. I have this role that you may be good for. It's entry level. I can get you in the door. You have to sell yourself. So I sent her my resume. She cleaned it up for me. She got me the interview. I got the interview. I got the job. I graduated undergrad in 2007. I worked my fingers to the bone from 2007 through grad school, working 2-3 jobs plus an internship until 2012. That's when I got my first real salary job where I was actually making money that I can put towards a saving or investments or whatever. I worked. That's why I get to do what I do now, because I worked my ass off. And I didn't get to do the traveling and all of that type of stuff in my 20s or my 30s, because in my 30s, I spent time making up for all the time I lost in my 20s. But oh, baby, in them late 30s and them 40s, oh, that is why you see me living the way that I live. And I haven't even reached my potential yet. I'm working on that, like my full potential. The full desires of my heart. Give me a couple years. But you gotta work. So anytime a young person say, do you have any advice? Baby, you got to do what you gotta do. You ain't too good for nothing. You ain't above nothing. I did what I had to do, and I found opportunities in what was available for me to build the skills that were going to land me what I wanted to do when the opportunity presented itself. When I was at Verizon, I took every opportunity to create a deck, to facilitate a meeting, to train somebody. When I was at Target, anytime my boss said, I know this is not your job, and I know it's, it's not, your pay, you don't get paid to do this, but do you want to do this? Do you? Hell yeah, because that is going to build the skill set I need to do the things that I want. You got to do the work. That's the answer. That's it.
When it comes to phone addiction, anxiety, depression, burnout, before the age of 25, the need and the urge to feel like we are actually running out of time, like we need to hurry up, we need to do something. Our nervous system is it's very dysregulated. Most of us are dealing with nervous system that is always on the go, always on survival mode. That is not actually, that is very, very unhealthy for anyone. And that's what we are living through. We can clearly see that the system is broken. Like everything, every promise, everything that was set up before is broken, but we're still supposed to just keep on going in life and think that, oh, everything is normal. Everything is absolutely okay. When we are actually out here constantly comparing our bodies, finances, the things that we see on social media, being exposed to literally every, a large number of people's life, that be it the fake one, the real one, whatever, all at the same time, consuming so many information and so many things, perspectives, people's life, people's stories, people's emotion, all so quickly. Entry level jobs, we don't even talk about that. Like, we don't have a chance with entry level jobs, because if you're just a person, you're done with school, you're high school, maybe you go to college, you're trying to get a job. you should have clocked in when you were a toddler, maybe since when you were 1 year old, because the experience that they are needing is 5 years, 6 years, and 7 years, and you're talking about entry level. So it's like you just don't even have a chance, because somebody got to give you an opportunity to have a job first before you can have that experience. So I just don't get it. So when we say Gen Zs, we are cooked, we are absolutely cooked. I tell you, the job market is trashy to the extent where it has become a normalcy for people to be unemployed now. I mean, Now, what are you gonna do? Like, so, like, you get to the point where you're getting used to being unemployed. Like, literally, you get used to being unemployed, and then the idea of even working start not making sense. Like, it starts to get to the point where it's not making sense because you've been applying for 2,000 jobs and nothing. And it's like, this is what we're supposed to live through. You know, everything is subscription, everything is expensive. You saving money. I don't even know how you can do that. Like, savings feels like a joke when mostly our rent is actually eating up most of the paycheck and every single part of it. When talking about how we are mentally, we are absolutely cooked mentally. I don't think there's any Gen Zs that are actually out there mentally healthy. We could go on, but we just gotta stop this video here. You've made it to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate you. Please don't forget to click the like button. It helps the algorithm, and I appreciate that so much. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new here and you're watching me for the very first time, hit the notification bell to get notified every time I post a new video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will see you on the next one. Bye.